who do you believe when you're talking about Alex Murdaugh and another person? I think that's usually a fairly easy question to answer. But I don't know. There is certainly, I think, some compelling possible evidence here. And each side is going to say that the other is completely off base. And we're talking about the South Carolina clerk of court now denying the jury tampering allegations in the Alex Murdaugh case. I found it really funny when I started to see the headlines of this filing the other day. People are like, so is it just going to be thrown out now? Is it just done? Well, of course they're going to say that it's not true. Of course the prosecution's going to be like, this is bullshit. And it's all unfounded. But there's some affidavits of a couple jurors that do say this did happen. And there's many other jurors that say it did not happen. I don't think it's a far cry or stretch to say maybe it was just said to a couple people, or maybe just a couple people picked up on it. I don't know. But if it did.
And let me tell you, I went and I didn't serve on a jury, but I got called for jury duty, and the room was full of people and everybody's like staring off into space. You get just a smattering of people from the community, basically just a slice of what's out there. So you could have people who pay a lot of attention and are really analytical. And this is, damn it, juries are just the coolest thing. And they thrive on law and order and things being in line. And then there are other people kind of like me where it's like, oh, look, a shiny thing over there.
Yeah.
And they miss that huge part that, geez, maybe Becky did say something.
And that's what I mean, it's worth an evidentiary hearing. And I think they should go and at the very least have that. There's also talk about getting Judge Clifton Newman removed from all future Alex Murdaugh cases. And, wow. I'm not here to stick up for Alex Murdaugh, but his attorneys are not horrible. They have an argument there. I mean, Newman has done interviews. He's been on the Today Show. He's expressed how he feels about Alex Murdaugh and his guilt. And if you're supposed to have an impartial judge and an impartial jury, I'm sorry, giving interviews and things like that, seems like a really nice guy and a good guy. If he wants to retire and give interviews, cool. But I don't think you can continue to preside over cases of someone that you've already expressed your feelings of their guilt on in that sort of a public setting. He's supposed to have another trial about the Gloria Satterfield case and the monies that were pilfered out of that, and Newman's supposed to be overseeing it. And they're asking for a stay on that because they want the Supreme Court to rule and say either, you can keep Newman or not, or we need to, put a pause on all this stuff until we can figure out if there was jury tampering, and then we'll certainly go back to trial, but let's get these ducks in a row so there's not appellate issues down the road. And I think they really need to do that, because as much as, again, everybody wants to burn Alex Murdaugh at the stake, and I'm fine. I'll bring some lighter fluid, but at the same point, you can't just do it without correct due process.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's guilty as shit. But if you got to that conclusion because there was some other reason that influenced that, then I'm sorry. If it's just as guilty, then he'll be found just as guilty a second time. And it's a total waste of time. And it's insane that this happened allegedly. But it's just, I don't know. It's fucked up. Rebecca Hill is at the center of the allegations of jury tampering. She is emphatically denied her accusations under oath. These allegations are part of Murdaugh's bid for a new trial following his conviction in March for the murder of his wife, Maggie, and son, Paul, in June of 21. Murdaugh's legal team has sought a new trial based on claims of jury tampering, which prompted the South Carolina Court of Appeals to suspend his conviction appeal and return the case to the circuit court for consideration. Last month, Murdaugh's defense attorneys requested an evidentiary hearing on the allegations of jury tampering. The allegations include assertions that Clerk of Court Becky Hill influenced the jury to disregard Murdaugh's testimony and other defense evidence, pressured them to reach a quick guilty verdict, and misrepresented information to have a juror removed. And if that shit's true, if even one of those things is true, there should be a new trial. In a signed affidavit,
Absolutely.
Hill categorically denied the 26 specific allegations outlined in Murdaugh's motion for a new trial. She refuted statements attributed to her, such as instructing the jury to scrutinize Murdaugh's movements or warning them not to be distracted by a certain piece of evidence. South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson and state prosecutors have strongly opposed Murdaugh's motion for a new trial. Their response states, "Never does the law permit highly motivated convicts to put their own jury on trial." They're not putting their own jury on trial. They're making accusations that seem, if real, pretty legit. Those attorneys, I don't think, are just going to file this shit and not have something to back it up, because they risk their own license if they're doing that sort of shit and being disbarred or penalties and things of that nature if it comes back down and it looks like this was all made up.
And that's exactly what the case is here. The issue at hand is it's not the jury that's necessarily on trial. It's the court that is kind of on trial. Becky, if she did this stuff, she breached her responsibility to the court.
Well, I think the whole South Carolina low country legal system, police system, all of it should be on trial because it's the shadiest shit. And we've seen it over the year. I mean, it's not like a question that this sort of dark, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your shit has been going on there for years. It's talked about. It's been open. This has been discussed way before these allegations were even made, especially looking at how Murdaughs were the solicitors for all those years and how they kind of just pushed their way around and did what they thought they should do. And they got juries to agree, and they got police to agree, and they got away with a lot of shit because of who they were. So to say that there's not like inklings of corruption that, trickle deep down into this system is bullshit. The state's filing also highlights the ongoing investigation, revealing that most jurors and the final alternate juror have been interviewed by SLED. According to the filing, none of the interviewed jurors reported feeling pressured or influenced in their verdict. However, one juror declined to be interviewed, and two jurors, represented by an attorney, have not yet consented to unconditional interviews with SLED. So if you read that clearly, because the prosecution's going to push it one way, saying, well, everyone we've talked to said that this didn't happen. Well, you didn't talk to everyone.
Correct.
So, yeah, you didn't. If every single person is that, especially the ones that they have affidavits on, are going back and saying that this didn't happen, yeah, you got a far stronger case there, South Carolina prosecution and Attorney General, to say that this is all bullshit. But you don't. So we have to figure this out. The state's response underscores that Murdaugh's evidence largely consists of affidavits from one deliberating juror, one juror removed for concealing improper communications, which they're arguing was complete bullshit to begin with, and two hearsay affidavits from his legal team's paralegal. The state characterizes Murdaugh's claims as part of a sweeping conspiratorial theory with limited supporting evidence. I don't know. I think there's more evidence here that points to something being nefarious than I think actually points to Alex Murdaugh pulling the fucking trigger.
Yeah.
If we're talking about other people that are saying, look, this happened. There's no one that is from Moselle that's alive today that can say, yes, Alex Murdaugh pulled the trigger. I think he probably did, or certainly knows about it, or has some sort of role in it. But if you have jurors that are saying, yeah, this is kind of fucked up, you got to look at that. Maybe they misunderstood something. Maybe the rest of the jury can get together in the discovery hearing or the evidentiary hearing and say, this is what was said. We all agree. This one seems to have misunderstood it differently. Maybe that is all that happened. I don't know. But to sweepingly say, yeah, that's all, you can't. You have to look at this. The filing concludes that if the motion for the new trial is not denied outright, a hearing should be considered or conducted where all jurors would testify under oath regarding the jury tampering allegations. When approached by CNN, Murdaugh's legal team did not provide any comment regarding the state's response. Justin Bamberg, an attorney representing Becky Hill, stated, "We have fully respected the investigatory process, which was tough given the horrible things said about Miss Hill on Alex Murdaugh's behalf. He firmly denied any tampering allegations and the possibility of criminal charges against Hill." Of course, they're going to say that. That's their job. Yep. They're doing that. I'm not slighting them or saying that they shouldn't, but of course they're going to say that. That's why there needs to be the evidentiary hearing, because one side's going to say this, the other side's going to say that, and the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle.
This is going to be interesting to watch.
You think? I'm most curious. My gut tells me this is going to go to a new trial. My gut says that there's going to be something here. And maybe there'll never be punishments for Becky Hill or anything like that, but maybe there'll be enough reason here to say, yeah, there was misconduct. Maybe not to the scope that Murdaugh's attorneys are making it out to be, but also not to the unconceivable level that the prosecution is pushing out there. But enough where due process needs to be evaluated here. And then again, I think you need to take a close look back at every single case that has gone through that courtroom with Becky Hill. And I think they need to
be scared straight. This is not how a courtroom in the United States of America is supposed to operate.
Well, I think there's also a good argument here, too, of Judge Clifton Newman. This is his clerk, of him not being the judge for Murdaugh going forward. I think they have some pretty strong arguments. And we'll have to see where this all lands, but we thought the Murdaugh saga would slow down and just kind of go to civil cases and that. Nope! I think round 2 is not far away.
Sick of the ads?
We are too.
Start listening with no commercials now and get access to all of our episodes in advance of everyone else.
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
True Crime Today Premium Plus.
Sign up now.